Hi everyone, so today we're carrying on with the second part of the test that I set you yesterday, so there'll be another copy of that sort of downloaded that you can download if you need to. You don't have to print it off in order to do it. You can just write down the questions as you go. Can you make sure at the end of today's lesson that you upload some evidence of what you've done? It doesn't have to be all of it, but most importantly that you have worked out how many marks you reckon you would have got, and that will help me to work out what it is that we need to do more of when we get back in a couple of weeks. Okay, thank you very much. So question 10, we need to show in a labelled sketch how this can be done. Carpet tiles being used to cover a floor. The floor is a rectangle this size. Each carpet tile is a 40 centimetre by 30 centimetre rectangle. So make sure you've had a go at this. Right, so the floor is 1200 millimeters. Now if we have that in centimeters, we need to divide by 10 because there's 10 millimeters in every centimeter. So that would, if we divide both of those, that means we're going to have a rectangle that is 100 and let's do the 120 this way because it's slightly longer length, and it's going to be 100 centimeters this way, and it's then saying that each carpet tile is going to be 40 centimeters by 30, and they want to show how 10 carpet tiles can be used to do it completely. So we're going to have to cut some tiles up, I think, because neither 40 nor 30 go exactly into 100. But if we make our sketch something like that, we could say definitely that the 30 is going to be harder to cut up if we go into there, because it would be a third, won't it? 3 goes exactly into 12 4 times. So if I put a line down there and down there and down there, and say 30, 30, 30, 30, that's 4 tiles, isn't it? And then 40 centimeters, that's going to be 1 tile, 2 tiles, 3 tiles, 4 tiles. We can do a second row of those, another 40 centimeters, 5, 6, 7 and 8, and then we're going to have 20 centimeters left over. Well, that's half a tile, isn't it? So we've got 1/2 of 9, 1/2, the second half of 9, I've got 1/2 of 10 and the second half of 10. So that's one way that shows it. The other ways you could show it, but you need to have a sketch that is showing all 10 tiles on that floor. Maybe putting in your dimensions like that with arrows does help to make it that extra bit clearer. Oh, there were 3 marks for that last question, by the way. So if you've changed the, if on that, just to come back to it, sorry, if you changed these into centimeters or those into millimeters, just doing that would get you 1 mark. Then some attempt to set it out and fit some of the tiles in would get you a second. Showing all 10 of them clearly there would get you the 3rd mark. Right, question 11. So make sure you've had a go at this. We know the cuboid has a width of 5 centimeters, a length of 10 centimeters. We don't know the height. We know it's got a total surface area of 280 centimeters squared. We've got to work out the height. Well, I think the first thing I'd like to do here is draw a the net of the cuboid. So I know I've got a 5 by 10 rectangle, and then at the end I've got a bit here where that is the height, so I'm going to put h, and at the other end we'll have another bit exactly the same. Then we'll have the top of the box. The top of the box is going to be, so that, yeah, this is the bottom of the box, isn't it? 5 by 10. That's 5 by 10 is that, the bottom of the box, and that's what we've got there. So then we need the sides, don't we? Now the sides are going to be whatever the height is, and we're going to have another one of those just there, and then the top will be exactly the same as that bit there, won't it? So the bottom is going to be 5 times 10 equals 50. The top will be 5 times 10 equals 50. And then the way that we would work all the other bits out would be to do the length times the width. So the length times the width would be 10 times h, which we call 10h. We'd have another 10h here. We would have, this is 5 wide, so 5 times the height is 5h there, and 5h there. Now you get a mark if you've got anywhere showing that these ones are both 50 centimetres, and then if you've made an attempt to do anything with an h on it, a bit of a net, you can give yourself a second mark. To get a third mark though, you really need to show some way in which you are getting to where you need to be by adding all of these areas up. So I've got 50 plus 10h plus 50 plus 10h plus 5h and plus the 5h, going to put that on the other side, and all of that is adding up to equal 280. If you've got that shown, you've got 3 marks, and then the fourth mark is for finding out what h is. First thing we need to do is simplify everything that we've got here, and by simplify I mean add up the numbers that we know. 50 and 50, that's 100, and then how many h's have we got? So I've got 5h plus 10h makes 15, plus 10h makes 25, plus 5h makes 30. So I've got 30 times the height plus 100 is 280, and then I need to solve that equation. First of all, by taking the 100 from both sides, leaves me with 30 times the height is equal to 180, and then if 30 times the height is 180, we need to divide by 30 to find out what the height was. And 3 goes 6 times into 18, so 30 goes 6 times into 180. So the height must be 6 centimetres, which you can put on there. There's no mark for the units because it's already there on the answer line. Right, now we've got a 3D one, a bit like the 2D one which we had earlier at the beginning of this this lesson, the question 10 one, where we've got to show how the boxes are going to fit in. So we've got to show that he can put no more than 5,000 boxes into the container. And we could do that by, well, we could do it by showing how it fills up, or we could just do it by showing that the volume of 5,000 of these boxes is going to be the same as that, or that the volume of 5,001 is going to be more than it. So, but the first thing we need to do is make sure our units are the same. So we've got centimetres for the box. I suggest it would be easiest if we turn these into centimetres. So there's a 1 metre equals 100 centimetres. So we need to times by 100 to say we've got 1,000 centimetres long and 400 centimetres wide and 500 centimetres high. Now the volume of the container is the length times the width times the height. So we are looking at doing 1000 times 500 times 400. 5 times 4 is 20, times 1 is 20, and then we need to add all the zeros that we can see here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So that actually means that what we're talking about is 200 million centimeters cubed. And then we need to work out the volume of the box. So the volume of the box is going to be length times width times height again, 50 times 40 times 20. So that's going to be 5 times 4 is 20, times 2 is 40, and then the 3 zeros to put there, there and there, and that makes 40,000 cubic centimeters. So then we need to do 200 million divided by, we can write as a fraction, 40,000. And it's absolutely fine to divide by 10 each time by crossing off a 0. Do it a third time, do it a fourth time, and that means what we've got is 20,000 divided by 4, and then you can use a bus shelter. So 4 doesn't go into 2, 4 into 20 goes exactly 5, 5,000 times. So that says 5,000 boxes exactly. So if the volume of the 5,000 boxes is exactly the same as the volume of the container, there will not be space for any more. Next up is question 13. Make sure you've had a go at this. There's 4 marks for this. The total area of the pattern. Well, we're not sure what the length and the width is, but we know if we call the length L or X and the width Y, what we do know is that we've got a length and a length there, so that means 2x plus y is 11 centimeters. Now this is something called simultaneous equations we're going to set up here. We also know that one length plus one width is 7. And now all we need to do is think about what is the difference between each equation and each side of the equation. So what's the difference between 7 and 4? And what's the difference between x plus y and 2x plus y? Well, it's the same, except we've got an extra x. So one length must equal 4. And if one length is equal to 4, this length here, if the whole length is 7 and that is 4, then it's obviously not been drawn to scale, because that must be 3, because 4 add 3 is 7. So I can say that y equals 3. And then what we've got is we've got 4 tiles. One tile, the area is going to be the length times the width. 4 times 3 is 12. And then we've got 4 of those tiles, so we times it by 4 and we get 48 square centimeters. So here's question 14, 5 marks for this one. So make sure you've had a go before watching and marking it, and then filling in anything that you may have got wrong or you may have not known what to do. There's more than one way that you could do this. So we've got a sand pit. The sand pit is in the shape of a cuboid. Sally wants to fill the sand pit with sand. A bag of sand costs £2.50. There are 8 litres of sand in each bag. Sandy says the sand will cost less than £70. Apparently Sally is wrong. we need to show y. Well, the first thing we need to do is work out what the volume of the sand pit is. As it's a cuboid, it's just length times width times height, which means it's going to be 40 times 100 times 60. Well, 4 times 6 is 24. 24 times 1 is 24. And then we've got 1, 2, 3, 4 zeros to pop on. So it's that many centimetres cubed. And you get a mark for doing that. Now, the problem is we're told litres. How many centimetres cubed in a litre? Well, this is when, I think I've told you this before, but a litre was invented as being the amount of stuff that would fill a cube that is 10 centimetres by 10 centimetres by 10 centimetres. So the volume of that litre is 10 centimetres times 10 centimetres times 10. Well, 10 times 10 times 10 is 1,000 centimetres cubed. So we are going to need to divide 240,000 by 1,000 to find out how many litres. So if we divide by 1,000, that just means 1, 2, 3 is going to equal 240 litres. And we definitely get a second mark for showing that. Now there are 8 litres of sand in each bag, so we need to know how many bags. So if each bag has got 8 litres, we need to do 240 divided by 8. Well, 8 goes 3 times into 24, so 30 times into 240. So we can say that there are exactly 30 bags needed. And then every bag costs £2.50. So times by £2.50. So that means 2.5 30s, doesn't it? So 30 plus 30 plus 15. So it's going to cost £75, which is £5 more than £70. You don't need to write that last bit on. You just need to make sure that you've shown that it equals £75. And there we are done. So what I'd like you to do now is go back through and add up how many marks you reckon you've got. And that should give you a mark of something out of 46. Okay, and if you're getting more than half marks, that's pretty damn good. So let me know how you've got on, and we can take it from there. All right, folks. Cheerio.